Hi, everyone. Very warm welcome to you. I just want to check with everyone if I'm audible so that we can quickly get the session started. You could just reply to me in the chat box. I can see some thumbs up, so I'm assuming that I'm well audible to everyone. Thanks a lot for confirming. So yes, hi everyone. I'm Shimul. I'm working as an account manager at Uplers, and it's my pleasure to welcome you all today this exciting session. We have called it as Behind the Screen, What Employees Value in Remote Job Candidates. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. And I'm also joined by the amazing VP of Talent Acquisition at LemonEdge, Sana Fatima. She has a wealth of experience in remote work dynamics and talent acquisition. Sana, it's really wonderful to have you with us here today.
Thank you so much, Shimul, for having me here. And I hope I can contribute to more in this chat.
Absolutely. We are really all excited to, know things from you. So let's move on. So, as you all know, at Uplers, our mission is to streamline the hiring process, making it reliable, easy, and fast. And therefore, we have chosen to come up with this series called the Remote Revolution. It is an initiative where we are inviting speakers from top-notch companies like Twilio, GitLab, Atlassian, BrowserStack, and today LemonEdge, and many more such companies to share insights on how remote companies hire, what their hiring process is like, what cultures, what values, various interview tips, and remote readiness tactics and traits that global brands really value, and what are the things we all can be ready with. And our entire mission behind this initiative is to help everyone who has joined us today to upskill themselves to get a job in a top global remote brand. So, as we move into the session, let's take a quick look at today's agenda and let's set a stage for what lies ahead. So we're going to begin with an introduction of our speaker, Sana Fatima. We'll know more from her about her journey. We'll also know a little bit more about LemonEdge. Then we'll deep dive into the rise of remote work, and we'll get to explore how global landscape has shifted, especially from the time of COVID, and what remote work means to both employers as well as job seekers. Following that, we will also discuss about the nuts and bolts of how to prepare for remote jobs. How do you get to crack various interviews? Sana is going to be sharing some valuable tips on how any one of us can stand out in a competitive job market. We'll also take a little bit time to deep dive more into Sana's company, LemonEdge, what their approach is towards remote talent, and they themselves hire remotely. So we'll get to know what are those things that they value. Sana is going to provide us with a lot of real-time tips and tricks. And finally, we're going to conclude this session with a Q&A session. So what I would request everyone to do is that while we are going through this entire session, any questions that you have in mind that you would want Sana to answer, you can post them on the group chat that's open. So you can ask any question at any point of time during the session. Our team is going to be taking a note of those questions, and we'll try to cover as many questions as we can towards the end of the session. But none of the question is going to go unnoticed and unacknowledged, and we'll try our best to cover as much as we can. So let's make this as interactive as possible, and let's try to make the best use of this time. So yes, without any further ado, let's kick things off. And Sana, before we deep dive into the remote work specifics, could you please share a little bit about your journey and what excites you the most about working in a remote talent space?
Thank you so much, Shimul, and thank you everyone for joining this session. So, as you all know, I'm the Vice President of Talent at LemonEdge, and LemonEdge is a next generation fund accounting platform that delivers innovative accounting solutions to private equity and hedge funds. So, my background is I have 12 and more years of experience in HR, and I spent a significant part of my career working as an independent HR consultant. I believe it was a choice because this path allowed me to, maintain a healthy work-life balance. And I worked in various countries such as US, Qatar, Singapore, and I gained incredible experience with, this opportunity. So it's like, I was working remotely before the remote work was actually introduced in the world. So through these experiences, I've gained deep insights into the cultures, their work ethics, approaches towards life, and their drivers of success. So in addition to my HR experience, I'm also an accredited counselor and with a background in psychology. And it helps me to, or it offers me a unique perspective in talent management, hiring, and various other facets of HR. So this combination is very instrumental, and I believe I understand people better and align the talent strategies and business objectives with individuals. So at LemonEdge, my goal is beyond finding talent, and it's like, we are trying to create a place where individuals can truly thrive both professionally and personally. So that's how we are committed to building a supportive, inclusive, and growth oriented culture that prioritizes mental health and well-being. So yeah, I'm really excited to share my experiences and learnings here.
Thank you so much, Sana, for introducing yourself. And it's amazing since, about remote work, you feel personally also very associated having done it for such a long time. And even as an HR professional, you would be able to share a lot of insights around what companies treat remote work as and what are the things that they look at. So, really, really looking forward to learning from your expertise.
Yeah.
So let's start with the big picture question, Sana. We've seen that remote work has had a tremendous rise in the last few years, especially after the post pandemic. So, in your experience, like what has been the most significant shift in how companies are approaching remote work, and why do you think that this trend is here to stay?
I believe, before pandemic, the remote work was for hustlers and people who were consultants and who could manage working remotely and try to manage their work working on small projects. However, after COVID-19 pandemic, it became more in-stream market, or, it became a necessity. Before that, it was a privilege, and now it became norm to many industries. And with that note, if we talk about India after COVID-19, it's a dramatic rise, especially, in the field of IT, in the field of financial services and service industries. So, if you check the statistics, according to those recent surveys, over 80% of companies in India have adopted some sort of remote work or flexible working arrangements, and it's driven by, like I said, technology companies and service-based industries, and and India ranks one of the top countries which has a rapid growth of remote workforce, around 35% of remote job postings. Like it's an increase of 35% in remote job postings in India. So if we check those stats, the other question comes to our mind, and that is, what is driving this and what are the driving factors behind this remote work popularity? I believe the number one factor is cost savings, both for employers and employees. And then the availability of high speed internet and infrastructure. India is very much perfect as location wise, as well as infrastructure wise. We have high speed internet connections, we have we workplaces. So we evolved as the world evolved, and that made us more accessible to the global companies, people who were looking for hiring remotely.
Yep, I totally agree with that, Sana, and the stats are like very much evident. And I think while remote jobs and remote work in itself brought a lot of challenges because there was so much value, both for the employers as well as the employees slash job seekers, we were able to also find out a lot of solutions around the same. And
Exactly.
that's why we are being able to foster in that direction.
Exactly. It offered remote workers, the flexibility, achieving the better life balance, and in that way, it improved their job satisfaction and improved productivity and focus. However, I also believe when you are working in a remote environment, the difference between office and home, it blurs, and sometimes you lose the balance. It's very easy to lose the balance in between, and you need a very structured approach towards home working so that you can manage everything within the time frame or within the circle.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yep. Now let's talk about the candidates. So, Sana, what are some of the key skills that employers look for in remote job candidates? And how do you feel that job seekers can stand out during remote interviews? If you could share some tips and tricks.
I believe, Shimul, in today's job market, having the right skills and qualities increases their chances of getting a job very significantly. And so the number one technique is apply for a job that is suiting or that is matching your skill sets. Do not apply for the jobs that are not matching your skill sets. Otherwise, you will not be, going through the screening round. You will not go beyond any screening round. So that is number one. And employers look for candidates who have relevant experience on technical skills, and and it is very, very, very important for the jobs that are in tech, that are in engineering, finance, and very specialized fields. For example, .NET developers must have a strong grasp of programming languages such as C, ASP.NET, as well as experience with frameworks and databases. And it is very critical or crucial to demonstrate those skills, on a deeper level. Just not the, if you are reflecting that you are just familiar to those concepts, you will not get the chase. You have to tell them how effective or how deep is your understanding and practical experience around those skills. And apart from that, the candidates should be, very proficient in relevant softwares, such as, Zoom, such as Teams, Google Meet. And sometimes it's very strange. Sometimes the candidates do not know how to present within the call, and there could be a chance they don't know how to set up a call. So there are very, very small things that needed to be taken care of to achieve a bigger interview or to crack a bigger interview. And the basic knowledge of working around Microsoft Outlook, the basic knowledge of working around Excel. Like in my if I talk about LemonEdge context, we need people. We often need people who have uh, advanced skills in Excel or VBA, because and SQL, because they are very, very, very critical to our roles. So a person who has a knowledge of fund accounting but lacks those skills will not cut the interview, no matter how much experience the person has. So, and more than that, if you identify a skill gap, you should work towards it, and you should overcome that before it, becomes a hurdle for your job. So yeah, apart from that, it's I believe communication skills. So practice, practice, and practice. That is all is needed for communication. And I believe you should be able to, efficiently communicate, whether you are working in a team or you are dealing with a client or, reporting to something to management. And it because we are working for remote setup, it becomes really essential for employers to look for candidates who can work or who can articulate their ideas clearly and listen effectively and understand everything and work well around the teams. So there are so many things you can do to improve those communication skills. You can go to platforms like Udemy, Coursera, LinkedIn Learning. There are so many YouTube channels that give you tips and tricks around how to improve your communication skills, and it's an ongoing learning, because we are from a background where English is not our first language. So gaining the proficiency in English is a must-be thing if you want to work remotely and if you want to work in a cross-functional teams around the world.
Yep.
Apart from that, Apart from that, I believe you should have the ability to prioritize tasks and meet your deadlines, being or recognize which tasks are critical and which tasks are not that critical. And it involves strategic thinking, it involves planning, and sometimes even negotiating those deadlines is really essential, because as Indians, we struggle to say no. So these things should come up, and we should work on those things to there is an expectation, you need to manage that expectation, but you also need to understand whether that expectation is doable or not, and effectively negotiating on those deadlines. And if you constantly meet deadlines, it builds trust and it builds credibility around your team. And it shows that you are reliable and committed to the company or to the delivery of work. So, and especially when you do not have any direct supervision, because your boss is sitting at the end of the world, and he can only, or the person can only communicate with you through Zoom or Teams calls. So there is no one on your shoulder telling you to do the work or missing the deadlines. So you are your own boss when it comes when it comes to remote work. So yeah, self-discipline is very important. Uh, you know, um, you have to involve or create a routine, avoid procrastination, and constantly meet expectations. And sticking to your work hours is very important. Manage your distractions and maintain a healthy lifestyle. And because if you do not have work life balance, on the long run, you will be distracted, you will be burnt out, and you will be demotivated towards your work. So it's very important. And as employers, these are the key things that we look in a candidate, apart from the basic skills and apart from the CV or resume. We want to learn more about the candidates through various interviews. We understand whether the person is able to meet the deadlines, or how much the person prioritizes, and how much they are prioritizing their work life balance.
Yep, I agree a lot with that, Sana. I think especially the point that with remote work, it's very difficult for anybody to directly supervise you, as well as since your the globe is your workplace. So there's so many people that you get to interact with. Your colleagues could be outstationed, your clients are outstationed. So it definitely requires a lot of self-discipline. And obviously about the skills that you mentioned, technically knowing what's required in the particular job, and beyond that, knowing what's required for remote work in itself, having basic knowledge of the required tools, and alongside that, ensuring that you are able to rightly communicate that information. All of these things are super, super essential. And
It is very important, Shimul.
yep, yep. Thanks a lot for all your insights. And I'd also like to understand from you if you could share some tips with us that how candidates can best prepare for the technical and non-technical challenges of remote work.
I believe the technical challenges during if I talk about interviews, the technical challenge is, you know, setting up your laptop, your screen, and finding a quiet place where you can, have your interview without any distraction, and open up your, what you can say, your video call, because the other person who is sitting on the other side, they want to see you, they want to know more about you, because this is the only place of interaction, your video screen. Otherwise, they will not be able to know you. So it is very, very, very good to put a face on a name. Most of the times, people don't realize that. And more than that, the internet connection. Before 15 minutes before your interview, you should be checking on your internet connection. You should be checking on whether your headphones are connected or not, whether your speakers are working or not, what you are wearing, whether are you prepared for the interview. Yes, it's a remote interview, but your backgrounds, your presence, everything is noted. So
Yep. That's right, Sana. I think all of those things are already like mentioned even in front of us. And those are things that uh, more than best practice, it also reflects our seriousness as a candidate. So these are
yeah.
things that coming from you, we all understand that interviewers also really value and they do notice all of these things. So it's very important that be it in terms of the setup, it in terms of the knowledge about various tools, and be it in terms of any of the cybersecurity things that we need to take care of. So it's super essential that we look into all of these areas beforehand, before jumping onto any interview, or even when we land up in a particular job and are working remotely. So absolutely point taken, and will ensure that all of us take strong notes out of this and take care of it when we get into remote work.
No, absolutely. And like you mentioned, cybersecurity is a very big thing. And understanding more about that and having those courses completed while based on cybersecurity and GDPR and data protection, it really helps. It really puts you forward as a candidate, that you already know these concepts, and you actively work towards what you can say, blurring those lines.
Yep, yep. Thanks, Sana. So, Sana, I think all of us are going to love some actionable advices here. So, let's jump into some real time tips for our webinar attendees. And if there's some advice that you would like to give to all us candidates who are trying to build a strong online presence and are trying to network for remote roles.
Yeah. Shimul, for making or maintaining a strong online presence, the best way is to build a blog or a portfolio website, especially for, .NET developers. And it really, really, really enhances their job opportunities and career growth, because there is something other than your CV that you can reflect on. And especially when the hiring managers are not looking for it. So building a technical blog or portfolio website is really effective. And you can use it to showcase your skills. You can use it to showcase your uh, detailed tutorials. You can put your code snippets. You can put your case studies about your projects. And you can explain the challenges that you faced in your projects and how you solved them. So that website becomes your personal diary to showcase what kind of talent you have. And there are so many platforms that you can use, such as GitHub pages, WordPress, and Wix, to set up your blogs or profiles. And it helps everyone to learn from your experiences. Again, the other thing is you can contribute to open source projects. Actively engage in, if I literally talk about .NET developers, if I use them as an example. So if they actively engage in their .NET repositories on GitHub, and even if they start their own project, it significantly enhances their profile. And it's all about building your profile to achieve the role. Everyone is there with a CV, with 10 years of experience. How you are different. This is what employer wants to, know or employer is seeking, especially in a remote work. There is, uh, you should create and publish .NET libraries or tools. There is a place called NuGet, and it is really, really, really helpful. And you can demonstrate the capability to build solutions, and you can float those codes there, and it will be easier for you. Like the communities can use it, and it will be really useful. Apart from that, use LinkedIn as much as possible. Like the tech portfolio, LinkedIn will be the best way, or it is one of the good ways to improve your tech portfolio, because there are so many questions. You can engage yourself into the, writing those articles, participating in forums. There are so many groups that you can join where other .NET professionals are. And since it's a platform where all the professionals are there, and it is primarily used for jobs, you can easily make connections, and people can easily see you, and it amplifies your profile. So in my opinion, LinkedIn is a good place. Apart from that, engage in technical forums and communities. So it's like, answer .NET related questions on Stack Overflow, and answer questions on Reddit communities, Discord servers, all those places. It's all about how you present yourself through and through. The more you are out and about in the market, the more you get chances to be seen. If you are sitting in your room, no matter how good you are, no one is looking at you. No one will know about you until you float that knowledge or that wisdom in front of everyone. So these are some very practical skills. And there are two things, or there were two candidates that we hired from Uplers, and it created a big impact. Like they both had their YouTube channel, and that particular thing put them away from, put them in front of many other candidates who were just there with their CV. So it works. That's how I know that it works. It gives beyond the CV to employers.
Thanks a lot, Sana, for sharing it all. And definitely like a lot to take from this with all of us candidates like trying for remote job interviews. And since we know that, these are all happening remotely, so whatever things we can do, wherever platform we can update our skills, update our knowledge, showcase where we are, showcase our readiness, both technically and from the remote work perspective, the more it is going to help us shine in the market and beat the competition and move ahead. So thank you so much for sharing all these wonderful insights.
No, most of the tips, the candidates, they already know. The thing is, they do not work on those things. So until every advice is just an advice, until you start acting on that, then it becomes a useful tool, and it becomes a useful advice. Otherwise, it is just someone blabbering somewhere.
I think totally agreed to that. So it's very important that while we've all joined here and we are trying to understand so many things, but with the expertise and the knowledge that we are all gaining, it's absolutely equally important for us to implement those things, and that would be the biggest key takeaway for this session or the entire remote revolution series that we're trying to do. So, Sana, moving ahead, like we've understood from you a lot of tips and tricks, and we want to also understand practically how these things are being implemented by understanding how LemonEdge, which is a company that's functioning remotely, and you are hiring remotely. So how LemonEdge is being able to kind of deal with remote work. What things are you guys doing? How the culture is being framed, and a lot of questions around that. So before we deep dive into this practical example, let's understand a little bit more about LemonEdge from you. From my knowledge, I do understand that LemonEdge is a company that's redefining the way capital accounting is being managed. And I'd like to understand more from you how LemonEdge is standing out in the market.
You know, LemonEdge is, like you said, it's a cutting edge development platform. And why it's cutting edge? Because it is based on low code technology that none of the legacy softwares already have, or legacy platforms have. So we specialize in providing advanced accounting solutions to private markets and fund accounting organizations. It was established to address the complexities of the fund managers and private equity firms. Uh, we offer a state of art accounting, solutions that are that are ready to handle, the complex nature of or the complicated nature of fund accounting. The platform itself goes beyond the traditional accounting software and offers a range of innovative solutions such as, multi-ledger management and event-driven transactions and scenario analysis, waterfall analysis, and giving full audit compliance. And this enables companies to automate their, what you can say, complex calculations, and it helps them to streamline their processes and maximize their scalability. And it is a game changer for the firms that want to that are looking for a transition from, outdated and manual processes to a more modern and technology driven approach. So because we are based on low code technology, it's real time. It takes less time and less effort to perform those complex tasks that were really taking time. And for example, if you want to transfer funds from fund accounting perspective, it takes 15 days with a normal platform, whereas in LemonEdge it takes only 10 minutes. So that is the huge difference, and it really is helpful for someone who is who is an accountant in those firms. It makes their life much easier, and that is why we are gaining clients every day. We are managing everything. I believe at the moment we are managing around 1.2 trillions in assets through the platform. So, and that is a huge amount for a company who just founded in 2020. Apart from that, we are fully remote. We are our presence in or our employees are scattered throughout the globe, and we have a big team in the UK. UK is our head office. We have a team in the US. We have a mid-sized team in India, and apart from that, the rest of the employees are scattered. We have employees in Canada, Brazil. We have employees in Amsterdam. We have employees in Portugal. In fact, we have employees in Libya as well. So being a remote company, it empowers us, or it gives us the opportunity to hire from anywhere. So wherever there is a talent, and if it is suiting our profiles or our things, we will be hiring them.
That's amazing, Sana. And thank you so much for explaining more about LemonEdge to us. I also am curious to understand that while like all of us know that to crack any job, technical skills are super important. But at the same time, I believe that regarding any company, and especially having worked with LemonEdge and you very closely, I understand that cracking a remote job is not just about tech. It's also about uh, kind of understanding the culture of that particular company, because these days many companies, and in fact almost all companies, they give a strong emphasis on mental health, well-being, inclusive culture, diversity, values like those. So
Yeah.
I would love to understand more about, what is the kind of culture that LemonEdge really promotes, and especially the fact that how you are able to ensure that your remote team members are also feeling connected and supported, even though they are, away from the head office.
No, we at LemonEdge we truly believe that being for becoming a successful organization, it starts with the culture. If you want to be successful, your culture should be straightforward, and it should be fostering clarity. It should be fostering transparency, and uh, promoting work-life balance and the mental health support. So when we started LemonEdge, this was the theme that how, since we are remote, how we can, make how can I put it, make an environment that is collaborative, and it should cross function across the globe. And so what we did, we put many policies, we put our benefits around the roles that help or support employees, not just, not just for the sake of benefits, but beyond those benefits. So in LemonEdge, we have the benefits of, gym membership, just to promote their work-life balance, just to let them know that we are paying for your gym membership. Go and do some exercise. Do not sit for 8 hours and just work for us. So go out and do some exercise. We are paying for that. So these are small things. With our medical insurance, we also attached mental health support, so that if you are struggling, you have some place to go and seek support, seek that help that you need. And everything was closely tied up with the fact that if an employee is healthy or if an employee is happy, then the employee will be productive. So that is the goal. Apart from that, we tried to set up an environment or set up a culture that is transparent, and that is what you can say. The hierarchy is more or less, it's flat among the whole team. Even if you want to reach out to the CEO as an employee, you can reach out to him. He is very what you can say, he's very approachable. All the C-suits are very approachable. Any idea you have, they are very open to those ideas. So all those things, ensuring, equity, ensuring growth in oriented environment, and creating a sense of belonging. So all those things, and a commitment to high quality work. So, it's a combination, it's a package of everything. It is not just one thing or other things. And more than that, you need to put things together to work. Culture is not just about talk, and talk. It's about how you put things together and how you, foster those things.
Yep. Thanks a lot, Sana. And really impressed to know all of these facts about what LemonEdge is doing to enhance the culture and promote employee well-being. And having discussed this, we can see on the screen various core values about LemonEdge. So I'd love to understand more from you that how do you feel that these values are influencing LemonEdge or say any company's approach towards talent acquisition and team management, particularly, in a remote first world?
I believe all those values that were put together in Lemonade, every value has its own meaning and story behind that. For example, the agility at Lemonade, it means the responsive and adaptable and ever-changing environment. Since we are a startup, we need to be adaptable, we need to be agile, and we need to be, looking forward to change. And until we become a company of 10 years old and everything is established. So, and same with innovation. We are driven by the spirit of innovation. LemonEdge is a low-code platform. So yes, we are innovative, and we continuously seek new ideas and technologies and approaches to push the boundaries. Apart from that, it's flexibility. We are working remotely. We are flexible with our work, with our timings, diversity, equity, and inclusion. We are hiring from across the world. We have a team across the world. So that is the biggest thing. With diversity, you need to establish equity and you need to establish inclusion. So you cannot achieve the what you can say you cannot achieve a successful team without combining all three of them. So yes, diversity, equity, and inclusion is there, and then collaboration. You cannot work without collaboration, right? So when you see these core values, they are very, very, very common, yet they are very important for a business.
Thank you so much, Sana, for sharing these with us. And I would definitely agree that all of these are not just Lemonette's core values, but I think even core values that are super essential to work in any remote setup or any remote friendly environment. So I'm sure like a lot of attendees would be wondering what it's like to interview at LemonEdge. So I would request you if you could, brief all of us about what LemonEdge's hiring process looks like. And if you could also share any of the qualities in the candidates that stand out the most during such interviews.
I believe if you see the hiring process, it's absolutely very simple. We put the hiring process as simple as possible because it's not about, making it difficult for the candidates. It's about making it simple and making it as practical as possible. So the first round is recruiter screening. When you apply for a job, your resume is screened, and when we apply, or if when we post a job for India, we receive more than 700 or 800 applicants. So sometimes it becomes really, really, really difficult to answer them back. So if anyone who applied for the role, I'm so sorry if I haven't got back to you, because I'm the only person reviewing everything, and we do not use ATS. So, but at the same time, we are very meticulous with the process or screening process. So the first round is recruiter screening. Once that happens, the second thing is hiring manager's call. The person will be meeting the hiring manager as quickly as the resume is shortlisted, and then the technical interviews happen. Those technical interviews for .NET for .NET applicants, the technical interview happens first, and then the other interviews progress. However, for other roles, technical interviews come around second or third round. And then there is a team lead discussion, and there is a final call with me, and then we offer the role. So the fifth step is generally me offering the role, understanding more about the person who is joining LemonEdge or willing to join LemonEdge, and how I can facilitate the process easier for them.
Yep, that's perfect in a very simplified process. And thank you, Sana, for explaining all the steps in detail. Let's move ahead. Yep. So, Sana, I'm very aware that LemonEdge is actively growing and there are like multiple exciting roles available. So, on the screen, we can see some of the active jobs that are available and also some of the upcoming roles. So, would love to understand more from you about these roles and, anything that you would like to share for anybody who's considering LemonEdge as their next working place or their next career move. What can they expect when they join the team?
Uh, with that note, I would like to add there were two more roles as active jobs, but when we started making this slide presentation, there were two more jobs, but as we came to the end, those two roles are gone and they were already filled. So I removed them from this slide. So this year and next year will be all focused on hiring implementation managers and software developers. And with software developers, we need .NET developers who have good relevant experience. And we have a technical test that is really, really, really difficult. But that test is only difficult if it's not about understanding how good you are. It's about what is your thought process. it tries to catch your thought process. So if anyone who got that test and who is sitting with that test in this call, they should be getting that noted, that that test is there to understand more about how they problem solve their problems with codes. It's not about literal, completing the questions and completing the answers. It's very different. And upcoming roles, we have more than 8 roles in implementation manager and software developers. And so, yeah, this is at the moment, this is what we have for 25.
And yep, I think both the roles are super exciting. And I'm sure, like, considering that LemonEdge is so dynamic, this is going to keep changing and more roles and more opportunities are definitely going to be open. So
Absolutely.
would really, really look forward to that. And I think we're almost towards the end of the session. And there are a lot of questions that, our audience kept asking during the session. So our team has handpicked a few questions that we try to cover. We're definitely going to try and cover as many as we can, but these are some of the top questions that we were able to pick up, and we'll see how many more we can cover. So, Sana, shall we open the floor for the questions?
Absolutely.
Yep. So the first one is that somebody is interested in understanding that how do you get an offer from a UK company, because they want to understand that a lot of people search for UK jobs outside of the UK from India. So what are the skills that are required?
When we hire through, a separate payroll company, and that payroll company is, what you can say, they are responsible for all the payrolls and all the hirings of the candidate. So the person remains in India, and they work for a UK company. They get everything from us. They get all the benefits from us. Everything it will be set by us, but it will be shared through our India entity. So that is one thing.
Understood. Understood. Thanks, Sana, for
At the
answering.
moment, since we are remote, we cannot sponsor candidates. So if someone is looking for, establishing in the UK or establishing in the US, unfortunately, at the moment, we cannot do that because we are a remote working company. And the home office will be like, why you want to sponsor candidate if you are a remote company and the candidate can work from their own country. So
Understood. Understood. No, that does make a lot of sense, Sana. The next question is that what would be an ideal duration to follow up with the hiring manager after conclusion of an interview?
I believe 2 days, 48 hours is a time that is good for, asking them how did the interview go. After once a candidate finishes the interview, it is always good to write a follow-up email, because in that way, it remains in the hiring manager's mind that, okay, I met this candidate, he shared a follow-up email, I need to answer them back. So generally, one thing leads to another.
Yep, yep. I think a lot of people usually have confusion around this. So thank you for clearing it up. The next question is that if somebody is from India and their first language is not English, which is a lot of times the case, then what is the level of proficiency and tone in terms of communication that's required?
I believe start using simple words to communicate what you want to say. That is one good thing anyone can do who is struggling with communications. And apart from that, do not rush to answer your questions. Take your time, think about it, and then answer your questions. It's all about quantity, not about not quality, no, not quantity. It's about quality. You know. So what you are delivering should be good, full with information, rather than you blabbering 10 sentences. So take your time, think, and then answer. It creates a sense of confidence in the eyes of recruiter or hiring manager, it gives them that, okay, this candidate is thinking about this question, and then it is the candidate is delivering the answer by thinking it through.
Yep. Uh, so we'll try to cover two or at max three questions. Let's see how things proceed from here. So the next question is that there are a lot of times when the hiring manager or the interviewer asks the candidate if they have any questions for them. So
Yeah.
what would be some of the ideal questions that a candidate should ask the interviewer?
I believe if they didn't have any HR round, it is good to ask how many rounds of interviews are there, because that gives a candidate a clear timeline of what to expect in near future. Apart from that, it is good to understand uh, what are the key skills they are or the interviewer is looking for in an ideal candidate. Most of the interviewers, they will not give you a straight answer, but in that answer, while giving you some answer, they can give you some hints that could prepare you for your next round. The third one is following, ask them how the third round will look like, because then you will have good time to prepare. And even if they say, yes, we will let you know, you will understand, like, if it is a complete yes or if it is a maybe, while they will progress with you.
Understood, Sana. The next question is that do you feel that there is a major difference in the compensation that's offered to candidates from India versus the one that's paid in the US or UK market? Do you feel that there are, major differences in terms of deductions as well?
Yes, yes. There is a big difference when you hire in the UK and when you hire in US, when you compare it hiring from India. And the package is different because the economy is different. And your, the salary is one thing that is established based on your economy and your conditions around your country. So there are many factors that are involved when you think about, okay, I'm in India, I'm getting less salary versus the salary a person in the US is gaining. It's because the benchmarking in India is lesser, or the money denomination is lesser in India than these countries. So it's all about currency, it's all about economy, it's all about other stuff. So it's not the, what you can say, it's not discrimination against India. It's about where you are located.
Understood. No, I understand that, and that does make a lot of sense. Uh, Now I'll try to cover one final question, and I'll also share towards the end how we can interact and get answers to all the other questions that are left unattended. So let's wait for that part. And the final questions, and I'd like to understand from you. Uh, I think it's again associated with compensation and salary. What's
Yeah.
the best way to negotiate in an interview regarding salary? Any tips around that?
Uh, be firm. Be firm with what you want, and understand the market, understand the position. There are so many online tools where you can, evaluate your job role versus what kind of salary you may expect. So go to those tools, evaluate your salary, and then stick to a number. Generally, at LemonEdge, we generally provide a salary range. So if we already provided a salary range, we will accept anything that is in between that salary range. If you want to ask beyond that, it generally happens, but then you have to be a very, outstanding candidate. So when you try to negotiate, be firm, and refer to the market, that according to this research, this is the market thingy, and this is what I'm getting, and this is what I'm worth of. So I believe this is less than I'm getting at LemonEdge or anywhere.
Yep. That no, thank you so much for sharing that. Definitely something to be kept in mind whenever we look out for the next remote job. So with this, we come to an end towards the question round that we were doing, and let's move ahead. So yes, take the next step with Uplers. Anybody who's interested in, registering on our platform and looking at various job opportunities that we have available, here's the link. You can be a part of our vibrant community on Discord. I'll be sharing an invite with Sana as well to join this community group. So any of the questions that are left unattended, you guys can share it on the Discord community link that's here. And Sana would also try her best to answer as many questions as she can once she joins this group. We
No,
also
absolutely.
see, yes, thanks, Sana. And we can also see the WhatsApp group link over here. So feel free to join this group to get more notifications of such upcoming sessions so that you can benefit from this entire series and learn more knowledge about, what employers look for in remote interviews and all about the remote work landscape. Yep.
It will be good to join this Discord community because I believe there will be so many questions that are got unanswered. And with times, with constraint in times, you're not able to answer every question in details. So it will be good to answer them in details there.
Yep, I'm sure like everybody would love to interact with you and, get more guidance. So thank you so much for, like helping us out with this entire session and sharing so much knowledge with us. We can't thank you enough, like for all the valuable tips that you've given and the knowledge that you shared about LemonEdge. I'm sure it is going to help us all thrive much better in a remote world landscape.
And thank you so much, Shimul. I hope I was able to help you guys.
Yep. And I'd also like to thank our attendees for joining us today. We really hope that you found this session useful, and we are equally excited about your journey in the remote workforce and looking forward to interacting with you on Discord.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks a lot, everyone. I hope you have a lovely evening ahead.
Have a lovely evening, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.